Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, what I like to do is to create videos that I would have found helpful when I first got out treasure hunting. Today I have a little box that came from eBay. It should be a fairly quick little video. There wasn't a whole lot of stuff in this particular box, but you never know. It might be interesting and we may get to talking for a while. So let's deploy our big shears. I'll try to open this up in a way that doesn't expose my address, because I'm funny that way. There we go. All right. What do we have in here? Nicely wrapped. Good eBay seller. Okay, I think we have a bunch of men's jewelry, which I think is mostly going to be costume. You never quite know. With eBay pictures, you just can't really tell, honestly, in many cases. And that's also why you can get them on the cheap at times, because other people aren't really bidding on them. Okay, is that an alien? Is that an alien with a 1960s haircut? What on earth? You know what? My neighbor's going to want to turn that into a bolo. I'll bet you anything. What the heck? All right, these are definitely going to be costume. The quality, the gold plate wearing off, and I'll bet you they're magnetic too, but wow. I did not expect those. All right, that's going to go into the bolo pile. All right, what else we got here? Now, the magnet will also pick up on any steel. So, for example, in here, we're going to have steel inside this piece because it's a spring in there that keeps it that way. But this looks like it's probably, at the very least, gold fill. Looks like little Roman cameos, I think. Yeah, look at that. I think that's what those are. Please correct me if I am wrong in my terminology. What do we have? We have perfect quality. And then another mark. What is that? I'm going to take this away for a moment. Okay, so I think what that says in there, now that I've looked at it a bunch with my loupe, is the top says correct or something like that, and then inside the little diamond it says GF. So that makes sense because these look very much like they're gold fill, which makes them quite nice. That's actually definitely one of the nicer set of cufflinks that I've spotted. Cufflinks are interesting. There's a ton of them, and very few of them are ever anything. Like, you know, these are just plated. Very obviously just plated. Probably magnetic too. Yeah. Although that magnetism is in the spring, as you can see, or that. So sometimes keep in mind that, like, the face here could be gold, whereas the cufflink mechanism part is not. In this case, I don't think that's the case. We have a letter that says A, and the quality just isn't great. Like, do you see how the little mother of pearl or whatever that is off center? If you're making something out of gold, you're not setting those off center, because anyone paying gold prices isn't going to pay you for having set those off center. So that's a good example of where quality can tell you whether or not you have gold. Okay, should be a little quieter here. Sorry about that. I have my laundry running in the background. And I'm going to toss that in with my little bucket of men's jewelry. See what else we got. So we've got the same thing going on here. Stone is a little bit off center. Very, very much just a little plate tie tack. that is, you can see the silver plate or the gold plate wearing off. The brand on this one is Pioneer. Not a very high quality piece. That just goes into our random men's jewelry. Again, we're looking at clearly just a bit of plate, probably even, guess not as not magnetic, so it's probably brass with some kind of rhodium plating on it. A little shirt stud goes with the other ones. You can see it's again off center, just not very high quality. Now we come to the reason I purchased this particular auction, and I'll include the price of the auction in the description. Off the top of my head, I don't recall it, but it wasn't a lot, and I thought, oh, you know what? Let's just grab this. These keys, and they're named keys because they're used to be with watches. They didn't have the winding mechanism included in it. But these keys are very frequently gold, especially when they've got nice engraving on the back. And the engraving can be fun. Now this one we'll test here in a second, but I'm not holding out hope that this particular one is gold. We'll see. I've been surprised by these quite a bit. So AR Provost, Outstanding Man, Epsilon 1951, and that is, not sure what's going on there. But we'll break out the test acid and we'll see what we have here. All right, there we go. So this is right here. I got down to where whatever if there's a base metal, it should have come through there. And then the face is a different piece, recall. So that's the face. So we're actually doing two different tests of this piece right now. Let me grab my 10 karat test acid, which is what these are usually. These are usually ends up being 10 karat when they end up being gold. 14 is not unheard of. But the test acid should dissolve them pretty quickly if they are not 10 karat gold. And it looks like we do not have 10 karat gold in either case. So that piece, which I bought this auction for, not a whole lot. I don't recall exactly what it ran, but I'll include it in the description. Was not a jackpot. We did not get solid gold out of it. But you know what? This is a nice set of cufflinks. And these are, I mean, there's a fair bit of gold in this. I think we probably did okay on the auction just because of these. And that's one of the things that I like to tell people about auctions. I tend to do better on an auction if I pick auctions that have multiple things that I think might be good. Because if one doesn't pan out, then you have alternates. And most of my really big wins from online auctions have actually been from pieces that I didn't even think would end up being gold or silver. They were in an auction that had multiple things in it. And now my personal rule is I pretty much always go for auctions that have multiple things in it, lots, because then even if what I was hoping to pan out doesn't pan out, something else can. So that is the short little video. I hope you enjoyed it, and more importantly, I hope that you can use some of this information to go out and find yourself some treasure.
Like this, I've been Thomas.